I've gotten a couple questions concerning how I get the tooling marks out of my fuller grooves. So the first objective is to get as good of a surface finish as you can right off the Bridgeport or whatever you're using to cut them in with. And these actually look pretty good, but you still need to clean them up a little bit if you're going for a polished finish. Now sometimes I just acid etch my blades and that really does eat up whatever little bit of imperfections are on the surface with the tooling marks well enough for the kind of tough and tumble look that I'm looking for on a lot of my knives. However, this is one that I do want to go for a polished finish. So with that said, I've got to finish this by hand a good amount. So what I do is I use a little fuse. You can see that it's a 15 amp fuse and it's about 1 inch long and maybe 3/16 or 1/4 inch in diameter. And then I wrap, I wrap that fuse in sandpaper and then I work my way up through the grits. You can wrap it up a couple wraps and that gives it a little bit of a softer edge when it's in here, and that'll help you keep from deforming the radius a little bit, but actually the radius of the fuse itself helps you maintain the radius of the fuller groove. And so I just put it in there, got a little bit of oil on it, and then I'll just work it back and forth. And then I like a little bit of overlap, as you can kind of see there, and that helps me get in the corners of the fuller groove. And I do that on both sides and work it back and forth, some good end-to-end motions. And then also what's nice is that you can just roll it or rotate it and get fresh sandpaper. And then you can tear off the ends of it and get even more fresh paper if you've got it wrapped a couple times. And then you can come back and do a straight sand on the top that helps you put in those crisp lines again, because you will get a little bit of deformation as your paper goes over the edges of the actual bevel on the fuller. So you'll be rolling that edge over a little bit just by the way that this happens, because you're gonna have a little bit of sandpaper that's going over the edge of your groove. But it'll be so light that it's not gonna be a big deal at all. But what cleans that up is when you come back with a flat tool that's loaded up with sandpaper and you do your final passes that cut in then a new crisp surface there. So let's wipe this off and I'll show you kind of what it looks like. I'm nearing completion here. I usually start with like a 240 and I'll work my way up to 600, 800, maybe 1,000, and then call it good depending on what I'm looking for. In this one, you can see I've just got a little bit of tooling marks still left to work out of the corners, but overall it is honestly looking pretty good for what I'm going for with this knife. So anyhow, that's what I do. I used a little fuse like this, wrapped in sandpaper and a little bit of oil and elbow grease. All right, hopefully that was helpful. See you guys.